Hey, y'all. Welcome back. Episode 49 of Manly Musings podcast. Kevin is now taking a picture of my double chin.
You actually look great in this photo. You'll see it
wow.
momentarily.
Wow.
I have the double chin in this one.
I feel like I have one. Yeah, well, that's another story. But welcome back, guys. So last week we had a special guest on to start the NFL season. As you can see, if you're watching YouTube behind me, I have last night's Monday Night Football game on, mainly because West Virginia grad Geno Smith balled out in the first half. Kind of, I guess, fell asleep in the second half, only threw for 30 yards in the second half. But hey, Seattle won 17-16. Horrible clock management by the Broncos at the end of the game. We'll touch on NFL after the first week. We'll touch on West Virginia. That's this week's episode, really. We're diving into straight football. So buckle up. It should be a very interesting ride through our West Virginia talks, to say the least, after last week's game. Kevin, you were there. But let's put it this way. How was the atmosphere before the game? How were you feeling during the game? And I know you left because you and I were texting and I felt like I made you feel bad in our group chat. So I felt very bad. Just throw that out there.
So during the day, awesome. I mean, typical Morgantown day. I'll be honest, I did not see that it was going to forecast to rain until I got down there. I checked last night. It was like 30% chance later on in the day. Then all of a sudden, I'm in Morgantown. They're like, yeah, it's going to be about a 60% chance. And then there's a point in time where it's definitely going to rain. So I brought no sort of rain gear, no nothing. And neither did my parents and my parents' friends. For those that are listening, so I went to see the game with my parents and it was one of their close friends. They've never been to West Virginia or a football game before, so they decided to tag along with us, and it was a great time. They got to go ahead and tailgate. I saw a couple of my friends. Shout out to all of my friends who let me hang out with them, let me interview them, who let my parents and I tailgate with them. My parents were super, super shy at first, to be truly honest.
I like the picture you sent of them just chilling over by, like, sitting down somewhere. That was a great picture.
They were just sitting. They're like, you guys just need to sit down and eat. And they're like, all right. So they enjoyed some like tacos and, tailgate food. So that was a lot of fun. They were enjoying the game. It then probably around the middle of like the second quarter, it started to rain.
Mm-hmm.
And then after halftime, it started to rain more. And, right at that time when I left the game was, I think, West Virginia up by a touchdown.
Yeah.
And, so I had nothing to worry. So we were just on our way out just to get back to our car, go find a place to eat dinner, and watch the rest of the game there. And and it started raining harder. So I will say this, because of the result of the game, I am okay with getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Because I can only imagine I would have been a miserable piece of shit if I had to walk in the rain in that loss.
Well, weren't you already miserable?
Wet.
You just added a little bit of misery to it.
Yeah, it would that would have been even worse, because it wasn't just like the sprinkle rain. It was the hard, cold rain coming down.
You mean like the rain we got in New Jersey and New York today? Randomly this morning?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I walked out of the gym. All of a sudden, I was like, I can't see anything in front of me. It's a sheet of water.
Yeah, it is terrible.
And the gym was flooding. The women's bathroom started flooding.
I feel bad for the ladies.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, oh, thankfully all the lockers are at least 3 inches up. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's not good, especially when you need to go in there.
So it was overall, of course, Morgantown's always a great experience. But man, 2 weeks in a row driving down and having to drive back up without a win, that hurts.
That's a rough one.
And I know we'll get more into West Virginia later on, but the trip was great. My parents had fun. I think they want a plan to, like, instead of us going to tailgates, they want us to just tailgate ourselves with a grill and all that stuff. So I
Yeah,
hope they
that
decide that they want to do that because that would be super cool.
dude, Kevin, next year, if they want to come with us to the pit game, that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to have our own tailgate next year, 100%. I love
Yes.
Leland. I know you'll listen to this. I love you. We'll combine tailgates because there'll be a massive amount of people at that game.
We're either gonna combine a tailgate or someone's gonna walk over to theirs and or something like that. We're gonna make it happen because
That'll
if
be
anything, by that time we'll already be 100 episodes in, and I'll just be like interviewing people like on the way if we're still doing this. Who knows?
oh, I've the rate we're going, we'll probably still be doing this and let people whoever want to listen to us ramble
Yeah.
like usual. All right, let's dive into the sports update here. Debo Samuel signed a nice new deal with the 49ers. Oh no, sorry. Wow. I wrote Debo Samuel. It is Dabo Sweeney. Oh my god.
Oh man, it's okay. It's all right.
Da- Dabo
It's a
Sweeney
Tuesday.
of Clemson agreed to a 10-year, $115 million deal. He is now officially getting paid over 10 million. I guess he was under 10 million in his previous deal.
Oh wow.
So good for him. He's definitely worth that money. If West Virginia somehow can fork out like $25 million more, maybe we can steal him. I don't know. Be great. I think it'd be
I
awesome.
mean, of course, it
It's
would
a
be
pipe
great to
dream. Pipe dream.
have a national champion as a head coach.
Yeah,
But
it's pipe dream.
I like Dabo a lot. Good energy whenever
Yeah.
you see him. He's he's definitely earned that money
Oh yeah, he
by
definitely has.
turning Clemson into the perennial powerhouse that they are. I know the last couple of years they've just kind of been the mid tier, but sooner or later he's gonna find that person. They're gonna make it happen. So, but shout out to him. He deserves that. I don't know if there's any stipulations to his deal,
I
but I
didn't.
know is he like one of the highest paid coaches, or is there more people
Yeah,
that could get more?
he's a high one of the higher paid. I still think Nick Saban, um, Jimbo Fisher, and there's a few others I think that make more than him. I think Ryan Day in Ohio State, as well as oh my gosh, Harbaugh up in Michigan. I think they all make more. And I know Kirby Smart down in Georgia got a brand new deal too. So
Yeah, that national championship definitely helps.
that yeah, getting a natty really helps keep you around too for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Um, then we have from Sunday. Let's just eliminate the Cowboys from playoff contention at this point after week one. Dak Prescott going down with a thumb injury, having surgery. So he's out 6 to 8 weeks. Did you see the video of him walking off the field and what the Cowboy fans were doing?
No.
They were throwing stuff at him. Like legit throwing popcorn and probably empty beer bottles and stuff. It's like, what are you doing? He got hurt. Like, you can't control that. You
That's
guys,
why Dallas's fan base is
so,
ridiculous.
and I know we probably have some people that are Dallas fans on here. I'm sorry. I think your fan base is trash. You can say Patriot fan base and the Steelers fan base is trash too. It's fine. We all have our own opinions, but you just pack up, get ready for next season. At this point, you're gonna have to pay a lot of money in something for Jimmy G if that's the way you're gonna go to get a new quarterback in there. So, good luck, Dallas. You seem to need it at this point in time. They're
Who's
also,
their backup gonna be then with Dak in?
I think, did Will I think re-sign with a practice squad,
Yeah, Will Greer's the practice squad quarterback.
but he can be bumped up to um, the
The main
active
roster.
the main roster for games. Let's see, Dallas Cowboys. Let's see the stats. No, Cooper Rush.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know. He's a Gingy.
Cooper Rush. Good luck to you. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
hell of a year for you.
you are definitely not going to be starting. There's no way. They're also the only team that did not score a touchdown.
Oh wow,
I
really?
saw that and I was like, the Jets scored. Oh, the Jets did score a touchdown. I'm like, oh, crap.
Shout out to the Jets.
Like, that's sad. That is sad.
Yeah, it's really sad.
That's okay. They're the Cowboys. I don't care. They're gonna. I think the.
How about them Cowboys
I
are
know.
losing?
Back to college football. Nebraska finally decided to fire Scott Frost after a horrible 5 years of under him. The funny part is he's now owed $20 million, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They waited 2 more weeks, it would have been 7.5 million.
That's
2 weeks. All you needed to do, and I understand it's week 2 of the NCAA season. You want to make sure that you put your team up for success. I get that. It's a lot of money you just gave to a coach that's not going to be there anymore.
yeah, that's a lot. Like so, and it's like, what would have been the difference of him being let go at the end of the season than like letting him go now? Like, what had to have been the reason that they just needed to just I can't do it anymore and
Be-
like let them go?
because I think it's Nebraska has as kids and in college, Nebraska was a powerhouse for college football. They were always a good team, not great, but always good. And under Scott Frost, they have not had. I don't even know if they had a winning season under Scott Frost.
Mm.
And he was a former quarterback there, so that everyone loves him.
He
Every
came from UCF, right?
yes, he was down at UCF. I think when was he down there when Blake was there? I feel like he was. Um, and he did well there, but then you come to a bigger stage, it's tough. Um, but then the interim head coach is the first ever black coach across all sports at the University of Nebraska.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah, especially this day and age. That kind of, there's probably other schools that are out there that have never had a, minority head coach in certain sports or in any sport. But it is crazy to think they've been around for over 100 something years, and this is the first time they've ever had a black head coach in any aspect. So I hope he comes out and proves that he should be a head coach, because give him the opportunity, maybe he'll succeed and the team will turn around. Never know.
Do we know his name?
I can't remember, but he was the wide receivers coach at LSU for 4 years, and then he's
Okay.
been up in Nebraska since last season. This is his second
Mickey
season.
Mickey Joseph
Yeah,
is his name. Yep. He used to
he
be LSU's like coach.
yeah, but he was also a Nebraska quarterback, I believe, is uh from what I think what I saw earlier.
Mhm. Wow. Good for him. He's from
Yeah,
New Orleans. He played his first coaching job was at Tulane in 99.
good spot. Tulane's a
Uh
good school.
yeah. Running backs coach, Louisiana Tech. Uh the main one was from 2017 to 2021. He was at LSU. He was assistant coach for wide receivers and an assistant head coach.
Yeah. So
So that's pretty awesome
so this guy
for
knows what he's
him.
doing.
Yeah.
Is So hopefully he could right the ship. Even if he only wins 3, 4 games, 5 games, good for him. I kind of tip my hat to him for that. Um, we'll touch on this because it's the U.S. Open. It's one of the biggest things in the world. The youngest number one player ever Carlos Alcaraz won the U.S. Open for the men's division. He was 19 years old. That's all I know about him. Apparently, he's really, really good at tennis, and that's about it. Yeah,
Shout out to him. What's his name? Let's see if I
Carlos
can find a
Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz. All right, so Spanish
Yeah,
tennis player, ranked
19
number
years old.
one in the world, singles player by the Association of Tennis Professionals. Let's see everything about him. Let's see. Yeah, 19 years old. I'm looking at pictures of him. He looks disgustingly young.
Great.
Like it is
It,
ridiculous.
is it like when we were at West Virginia talking to Andrew and being like, wow, everyone around us right now is children?
Yeah. That's literally he's right. He's looking super young. Let's see. So he won the US Open because there's certain things they talked about.
Dude, it doesn't even look
Uh
like he hit puberty yet.
yeah. So they talked about so Novak Djokovic's refusal to be
Right.
vaccinated for COVID-19 kept him out of this year's tourney. Nadal's limited schedule because of a series of injuries. And that looks like the main thing. It's just timing was everything for this guy. But good for him. He could be a future star for tennis and killing it at 19 years old.
That's not bad. Though once those other two are right and figured out and everything, they'll probably retake that pretty quick as
Yeah.
Djokovic yeah, and Nadal are still the best players in the world.
Oh yeah.
So good for him. This was the biggest one that I saw that came up today. And we're going to talk about the NFL shortly and the craziness of missed field goals. Well, this leads into the Colts deciding to release Hot Rod Blankenship rather, this afternoon. Yeah. He's been with the team for 2 years, played all, his first full season. He was like 90 something percent, 80 something percent on his kicks. Last year, only played in 5 games and due to a hip injury. And he missed the game winning field goal in the Texans Colts game on Sunday. The only report that I've seen, anything I've read, is basically saying we are evaluating everyone. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, you've got to do that. I get that. You don't have another kicker. They brought in 2 kickers for tryouts today, and that was it. Like, he's still one of the better kickers in the league at this point. He's gonna get scooped up quickly, I would assume, once he clears waivers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll find a home rather quickly. But I think there's just what is to say. I guess they're saying as a coach in an NFL, they're probably let him know, hey, if you're not doing the one thing we pay you to do, we're gonna get somebody that's gonna do it.
Yeah,
And this is a perfect example. We ask you to hit your field goals when we call your number. You didn't do it. So we're gonna go with someone else. And I don't know. I am just surprised of how quick it's literally just week one.
I know.
So that's what I think is most surprising is because they didn't give him a chance to redeem himself. Like
No, and like you could count on probably one hand how many. I think 5 kickers missed field goals this week.
about maybe
Mick
even a little bit more.
McPherson did. He's one of the best kickers in the league.
Yep, he missed against my
The
Steelers.
Steelers kicker missed.
Yeah.
Last night the kicker from the Broncos missed.
Yep.
Blankenship missed,
Mhm.
and the Texans kicker missed.
And somebody else got blocked, I thought.
They did. I can't remember who. I know you. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Didn't the one from the Rams? Because I could have swore they got
Yes,
one.
I think they did.
Matt Gay. So like,
So
I mean,
there's
that's six right there. It just hasn't been a kicker's week
No,
week one.
unless you're
So
a Chiefs player and your Bucker gets hurt, and then they have their safety go in and kick field goals and kick the kickoff. You see
do they
that?
really have them do that? No way.
Yeah, Reed. I think he's a cornerback or a safety for them. And during training camp, he just went out there and you know used to be a kicker, a soccer player, so he went out and just drilled a 65-yard field goal. And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, just in case anything ever happens, but hope and pray it doesn't, because we have one of the better kickers. We have somebody that can do it." Well, Butker got hurt, and Reed went in, drilled a field goal, and went down and booted a kickoff out of bat, like all the way through the end zone, and then played defense afterwards.
Oh my god, I love
Like
it.
that is the coolest thing in the world. That's a crazy story right there.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's dive into this. The fun parts, Kevin. You have, I'm assuming, a Troy Polamalu jersey on it. I can
Yeah, it's my favorite jersey, so
see
I
that's
had to
jersey I
wear this
expected
one.
you to wear last week.
Yeah, it was too hot.
Yeah, it
It
was
was too
very
hot.
hot.
So you'll probably see me in football jerseys for now, unless something else happens and stuff. But I will be repping, any jerseys that I have. I have some hidden ones that I may have forgotten that I owned,
Oh,
but
geez.
this is probably one of my simple white jersey, simple Steelers away, black, white, gold. Can't go wrong. And you don't have a hat on this week.
No, I decided no hat this week. I didn't really feel like digging through and finding a hat.
Happens to the
Um,
best of us.
but I am wearing a pretty sweet t-shirt today. Vantage Athletics. So it's something I follow on Instagram, and they mainly focus on doing wrestling attire, but also gym type of attire. And they dropped this, I guess you could say, athletic or college type swag. I was like, I kind of like it. It's cool with the rhino and all that. So I'll just get that. Why not? So I got that, and then like 4 different stickers and stuff. So
There you
definitely,
go.
it's a nice shirt too. So I'll be definitely wearing it as much as I can.
I
But
dig
yeah,
it.
so I got Kevin. You got any new cards? I'm assuming I'm gonna go out there and say no because you've been kind
Yeah,
of
I've been
busy.
traveling the world right now, so I haven't had time to go look for any cards. Hurts my soul, but it's okay. It's keeping my pockets a little heavier.
That's true. That is very true. It's nice
So,
to have a little bit more in the pockets. Um, I do have to ask, how was Cabela's on the way home? I would.
oh, Cabela's is always a joy because they my dad loves that crap. Like he's super outdoorsy. He went home with 2 fishing rods, and my mom ended up buying like 2 shirts, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, is there anything that I should bring? I'm like, no, they know me, I'm not even gonna freaking wear it, so I'm gonna just take my footage. I was like, I have some footage
I
on,
saw the pictures.
yeah, I have some footage on hopefully our next little vlog that we're creating, that Andrew is putting together hopefully as we speak. And I added some Cabela's footage in there too. So Cabela's, if you guys don't know, it's a outdoorsman store. The one that I go to is in the middle of Pennsylvania. I forgot what the exit is. I think I want to say like exit 23 on like 81. But if you're in outdoors, hunting, fishing, all that crazy stuff, this store is for you. You would probably be in here for hours. It's massive.
Yeah, we drove by it, and it was pretty funny when you're like, "Oh, my dad loves to stop there." Like,
It's a mandatory stop whenever we go to West Virginia.
well, on that note, let's talk about the crap that we have seen on this field and the display from one game to another. Um, I can tell you that I was watching the game at my friend's house, and I'm pretty sure every third word out of my mouth was the F word. Um, Yelling at the TV, yelling at the refs, yelling at the commentators because they were the worst commentators in the world.
I heard that the
Horrible,
commentators were the worst. That's why it
dude.
sucks being on ESPN Plus sometimes because some of them just really hard to listen to.
This guy was I mean, they showed them, and this guy was massive, and then he had a little brunette with
Yeah,
him.
I heard he's like an offensive. The guy was like an offensive lineman.
Where I've never heard his name before, but
I
he's
don't
an
know.
offensive lineman. So how many people actually know every offensive lineman that's ever played? Um, yeah, they were trash. It was literally like, oh, look at Ken. I'm like, can you just stop? Because what you're saying right now is idiotic. Made no sense, half the things he said. Um, but let's just talk about it. We went, we went up to Pitt. We lost on a horrible. We've all talked about a horrible play call or non-play call by the offense and not going for it on 4th and 2 or 3 inches. Um, and then
I mean, and we had a fluke happen
we
with
had a
the.
fluke. It went right through Ford Wheaton's hands off his helmet. And I was listening to the 304 podcast, and they were talking about that. And like, you can't yep like fans are so mad at Ford Wheaton. Like, you guys understand, Ford Wheaton put up over 150 yards receiving plus 2 touchdowns.
He kept us in the game.
He killed it. Donaldson killed it. Donaldson last week against Kansas had another good game. Not as good as the Pitt game. That's okay. We don't need you to be at that good every game. But it was still good. Like, what the heck? Um, I expected us to win that Kansas game. I expected to turn the TV off at halftime, not because we were losing, but because we were winning by so much that there was no point in watching it anymore. But defense didn't show up. They look lackluster. They look completely lost out there. What was it like in the stadium, Kevin? How was it there?
I so the first half it felt like your typical West Virginia game. It was going to go back and forth, but you felt that we were going to have comfortably have this game in our hands, in our grasp. We were up by 2 touchdowns at one point.
Yeah,
Then
it
all of a
was 20
sudden,
it was 21-7 at one point.
yeah, 21-7. And like the way they went down the first drive, I was like, oh, this is going to be cake. It was fantastic. Then, Kansas got some stops. They started doing that, working that option run, which I think gave us a lot of problems. And I don't know if it was just, did they not realize that Kansas like was really gonna let that type of formation go? If they did focus on it as much, because I just felt like watching them throughout the rest of the game, it's like they were just getting killed by this.
Yeah.
And it was like for some reason, like they didn't have an answer.
No,
Normally, when you watch them, you realize they're like, all right, you watch the game, second half, all right, you're gonna make adjustments and fix it. I felt like there was no adjustment made. And one of the biggest fears is that I always had from when we start the season is what is that secondary gonna look like? And they were awful. They were getting killed. And that is the biggest fear that I've had because we made it a point to make sure that we recruited to go fix that problem. And it looks like that problem hasn't been fixed. So
no.
that was one of the glaring things on my end. And then from what happened at the end, you shout out to the offense for fighting all the way to the end. JT Daniels, we know, is a stud. Bryce Ford Wheaton and him together as a pairing, great together. But, we didn't get the job done. First time since 1979 that we are starting 0-2. First time that we've lost to Kansas in a long time.
It's
It's maybe
been
2013, I
yeah, it's
think.
been 9 years since we've lost to Kansas.
Or that there's too many of these first, and that's not good. So I know there's a lot of talk on the internet right now and the message boards, the Twitters, like that Neal Brown is probably on his hot seat. I'd say I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but I will definitely say the seat is a lot warmer than we expected during this time of year.
I think we expected to come in and go at worst 3-1 in the first month. I'm scared we go 1-3. I don't
It,
I don't have no confidence in this defense. That defensive line is great, but if they don't show up, we're screwed.
well, I'm more worried about the secondary because I
Yeah.
don't know,
And Woods is out again. He's out for the Townsend game. He didn't
and
play
that
last
makes me
week.
nervous. Yeah, that makes me real nervous because he's one of your better backs that you rely on back there, and now we're just relying on guys that
We're relying on
we
freshmen and
no,
sophomores.
no. We're relying on guys that they have college experience, but
Oh
they've
yeah.
never played at the FBS level. They've played Group 5, cool. They played FCS, cool. They've never played Group 5 or especially Big 12 football right now. And I think a lot of them are starting to get a little more exposed than we'd like.
Yeah.
So, with
The
that, that makes me nervous.
like
Um,
I'm pretty sure our offense can stay with any offense in the country. That I'm not worried about. This is the best quarterback we've had since Will Greer,
years. Yeah.
since Greer came in.
And it's getting
Um,
wasted on
shit.
a defense that's not putting it together right now, even though this should probably be their best defense
They've
with
they've
who
all
they
come
have.
out and said this is the best defense we have seen, that we've had as a unit since Neal Brown's been here.
Yeah.
Um, I watching the game, it was hard because you know, yeah, I still think Neal Brown has too much of a say in what's going on with the offense. You know, we have our new offensive coordinator who's supposed to be a guru, I guess is what they call it. Whatever. He's supposed to be a mastermind for the offense, and he's proven he is very, very good at USC. You know, um, I don't know he can still if he's just calling the plays or sending them down to Neal and Neal's saying yes to it.
I could have swore when they brought in Graham, it's supposed to be Graham calling the plays and Neal is not doing anything. I don't know
I
if I
don't
want
know.
to
That's
I can't blame I can't assume or not assume that. I just know that we need to get results.
yeah. We
Where
keep we
we
keep
can't
doing
keep doing this.
we keep playing not to lose. We're not playing to win. We're playing not to lose. And it is what Neal Brown's been known for in his time at West Virginia. It's never to be cutthroat. The 304 podcast said it perfectly, and I totally agree. They go, Neal Brown is the best recruiter West Virginia's seen since Rich Rod. Great recruiter in Rich Rod. Bill Stewart was okay. Dana, god awful recruiter for the most part. You got some good talent, but that was it. Neal Brown has built something with his groups, and next year's team, that's going to come in. It's going to be very young, but it could be a lot of fun to watch. They said he's that side of it. Dana had that cutthroat mentality. I'm going to go for a win every single game. I'm going to shove it down your throat. They're like, if you could combine the two of them, you'd have the best coach out of everybody easily, because they both have whatever they're strong at is a weakness for the other. So do I want I don't want Dana ever again. That was after that one year where he was very good. It was just a
Well, I wouldn't say that about Dana. It's just a roller coaster of emotions. Just that
yeah.
you would have teams that were really good,
And then
or
teams that
that
were
you would
really
thought
bad.
really bad, or it would be like, oh, they're good to a certain point, and then just it's too much of a roller coaster emotion. And Dana never really gave a shit about the state of West Virginia, which is
No.
his downfall. And but the thing with Neal Brown is, and which is why we're getting the highly touted recruits, is he's built that culture of, I want number one, want to keep the kids at home that are
Yeah.
top kids, and has built a brand there that people have bought into. Now, to buy into, we need more results. And right
Mhm.
now, it is year 4. We are 0-2,
You are 17-20.
17-20, which is the worst out of the last couple of coaches.
He's
But
the
at the same time,
right.
if you really maybe a different player or two, we could easily be talking right now that we're 2-0.
Right. We could be talking that we are 2-0. I think if you come from the pit game with a win, it's a different team out there. 110% different team out there against Kansas. It's a team riding a high. I
Or
will
it could be them riding a low that like they played up all we beat Pitt. Now let's play against Kansas. And that's almost a little bit of what I saw from them this week. Like it's just
especially that defense.
they're supposed to beat Kansas easily, but look what happened.
It was weird watching it and watching when Kansas got down to the goal line near the end of I think it was the first half, and the defense just letting them. It looked like the defense just kind of opened the gate and let them walk right in. Like, what are
Yeah.
we doing? Like, you've got to do something here. And we texted Andrew Sunday. Andrew, welcome to what it's like to be a West Virginia fan. And he's like, this sucks. It does. But when we win, it's a lot of fun. When we
Yeah.
win, it is a good time. Um, I do have to say, watching the game on TV, they panned across the student section. And at this point, we're still tied with Kansas. And I understand the rain, like that does play into factor. But dude, Kevin, the whole upper bowl was almost empty.
When during the game.
Like getting closer to halftime in the middle of the third quarter, where we're still close. Like it was like empty. It was
No,
crazy.
it was pretty full in
Was
there.
it?
It
Okay.
was full in
When
there.
they showed it up there, it was empty. It was like nearly empty.
I think closer towards the fourth, it was starting to get empty because the rain started to come down harder.
Okay.
But I have a pen, even in one of my videos, in which if Andrew gets a video done eventually, you'll see it.
Are you just gonna
But
keep throwing those snippets at them? Just
but
little hints.
the student section was great. By the
Good.
time the game started, they were there. It just it was a matter of that rain coming down, and the rain was horrible.
Yeah. I didn't know it was raining until they like showed students and they were in ponchos. I was like, oh, that's a crappy day in Morgantown. Um, but all right, so we're 0-2. I don't even say that we beat Towson because you don't know. We saw two low tier teams or three low tier teams last week beat the two top 10 teams. So I'm not going to put it past Towson. I still think we should win. But where do you think this team goes from here, Kevin? What do you think we're going to end up like?
Well, number one, to just get this question out of the way, Neal Brown still has a job right now. And I
Yes.
think he's still going to have a job for the rest of this season. If he loses this weekend to Towson, that will completely change.
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts, I feel we will win Towson. And if we can continue to hold the Black Diamond Trophy and get that win over Virginia Tech, that could be the turning point of our season for a trending of upwards.
And the nice part is week 5, we play Texas, I think, after Virginia Tech. Texas doesn't have their starting quarterback for
Next couple of weeks.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Screwed up his shoulder during the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Which Alabama should not have won that game. Let's just be straight up. Holy crap. They skirted that one out. Barely. Wow. But Texas is still a good team. So
did you hear Nick Saban just
oh
right
yeah,
yelling at his players when they were the horns down?
Don't do that. Yeah, running off across the field. Yeah. I
that
saw
was
that.
awesome.
That's a good vid. That's good. He understands like why. Like you barely won. You
Yeah,
should have blown this team out. That's his mentality. Um, yeah, I think we'll touch on the Neal Brown coaching stuff here in a second, but with this team, if this defense can figure themselves out, you know, even if the secondary plays as well as it did against Pitt, because it did play decently well against Pitt. It wasn't great, but we've never had a great secondary. We've always had one decent player in the secondary or two, but never a great secondary.
yeah.
Um, then I feel like we can right the shipping, at least get to those 6 wins. Are they going to be easy wins? Hell no. None of these games are going to be easy moving forward.
They're gonna have
None.
to fight for it.
Yeah. It's going to come down to what team has more heart. And I think our offense is never going to give up on something. With JT back there, that kid does not want to lose. He is definitely one of those guys that's going to keep fighting. You can see it in his press reports, everything that you hear about this kid. He's the real deal. So let's not waste his talent because he's only here, what, for a year?
Well, he could technically come back for a second year, but I just don't
Yeah.
see him coming back for another year. This is technically his senior year.
Yeah.
Um,
He's probably an NFL style quarterback. The way he slings the ball, he can move it. Um, man, Dallas could probably use him right now.
hmm. Yeah, and don't forget on defense, there's still a guy on that defensive line that is from West Virginia
Okay.
that, you
Yeah.
know,
He just didn't
I'm
show up.
pretty that he came back to make a statement with his team and for the school.
Oh, can I just
So go ahead.
that brings me to my last point about that overtime that we had against Kansas. Whoever number 12 is on the defense is the biggest moron on that team. I'm gonna
I
say
don't know. I don't know what he did.
it was third and 15 for Kansas, and they threw it behind the line of scrimmage, and we brought them back 5 yards. He decked the quarterback after he threw it, drilled him, passing, roughing the passer, automatic first down. Guess what
Oh,
Kansas goes and does? Scores a touchdown. All you needed to do was not hit him. That's all you need to do. It wasn't even like he dove as he was throwing it. He literally threw the ball, and then the guy drilled him. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me! Right in front of the refs. Like there was
oh.
no way that no one wasn't going to see it. It was ridiculous.
I think that is Taj Alston. I
Yes.
got that one right
Yes.
for the defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's supposed to be one of our better players too, so
He
that's a
is.
shame.
He's a very good player, but that just a moron move. Just spaced it out. So I really do hope we can. There's guys on this team that deserve to, Stills, JT. I'll give it to Ford Wheaton too, because that kid is stuck through everything with this team. And Sam James, who everyone just loves to beat on, but he had a good game. He's had a good year so far in his
I feel
the
like
two
he's been
games.
there forever.
This is
He's
year 4 or 5 for him, I'm pretty
Yeah, he's
sure.
been there for so long. It's like graduate, man.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Well, probably will this year, and we'll never see him again. But yeah, hopefully they don't waste the talents. So now you mentioned Neal Brown. Let's talk about this. If West Virginia is to move on from Neal Brown, say at the end of the year, okay, we get into the new year. Athletic Director in Lions sits down. There was an article I read that more donors are upset at him than Neal Brown.
Well, they're upset at him because I'm not sure if you know, but the buyout for Neal Brown is $16 million.
It's 20 million this year. It's 16.9 next year, and then the third year it's 12.9, and then the fourth year it's 7.5.
Yeah.
It is the
So
stupidest contract,
that's
especially
probably
after.
why they're mad at him because do we even have the money to fork over to like let him go like that? And that's
So
why I don't think that he's gonna go anywhere right now. Because I don't think we have the money to pay
what I
to
read
release him.
is they said there was a couple of reports that the boosters have and like donors have already pulled together the money to pay him out. Okay. Problem is they then need to figure out how to pay the head coach, a new head coach. They can't find that money at this point. So you're sitting there, what do you do? If Neal Brown rights the ship, things work out, they figure their stuff out, and they go on a big winning streak and they win 6, 7 games. You know what? Awesome. Okay, you saved your butt. You saved your butt for one more year. That's it. You're on your seat is very red at this point in time. You need to go out the next year and improve. And that still doesn't guarantee that he stays after that. Even if he improves, it still doesn't guarantee anything. Um, so I read Voice of Morgantown, which I love three of these guys. They're very passionate. They also have a good understanding of the sport and have background.
Voice of
Um,
Morgantown is one of the worst places to follow, though. Truthfully,
oh yeah,
it
they're
has tons of stuff that's wrong anyway.
oh my god, yeah.
But go
This
ahead,
one though,
and
this one is an interesting one. This is about the head coaching search. If say we move on from Neal Brown, okay. So first one is Sean Clark, who right now is the Appalachian State head coach. He's young. He's 47. Downside, he has never had an high level school. Never been a head coach of a high level school. So that's a downside. But he has Appalachian State playing at a high level. They had a game that scored over 140 points with UNC. They just beat Texas A&M. Okay. He's also from West Virginia. Nice pull there. Chadwell from Coastal, same idea. No Power 5 experience, but at Coastal over the past 3 years, 24-3 record. Pretty good. Remember, Coastal also beat BYU, or barely lost to BYU when he was there. Then they drop into, so those are like your favorites potentially to come over in their opinion. Okay. Swing for the fences. Jimbo Fisher. Um, he's a native from West Virginia. Came out and basically said after the Pitt game, they interviewed him. They were asking him, "Hey, would you ever consider coaching back in your home state?" He said, "Home is home. I'd love to if that ever happened." But he's like, "I'm very happy where I am. Have my team here." Apparently, they've from rumblings is A&M has been up and down. They've been good. I think they're a good team. They should have been in the playoffs a couple of times, but that's two or four. This guy that every Morgantown and West Virginia fan knows, Rich Rod, is always brought up whenever there's a head coaching search. Please do not do this, guys. Do not bring him back. There would be so many people that would be happy, but there's be probably a lot more that are mad about it. So let's not even go that way. Then you have their known commodities. Tony Gibson. We all know who Tony is. He was a former defensive coordinator for West Virginia. Now he's the defensive coordinator at NC State. Jamal Adai. Oh my gosh, I can't even say his name. He's super young, 38 years old, was the number 2 recruiter for the country this year down in Miami. He has no head coach experience. Graham
he
Harrell.
also literally stole, I don't know how many players from West Virginia to go
Right.
to his new job. So he would be a no in my book.
He was at Georgia because he stole our best cornerback and went to Georgia. He went to Georgia with him.
Yeah, he
Georgia
stole Tyke
went.
Smith. He stole Tyke Smith to Georgia, and when he went to Miami, he got Akeem Essador to transfer there, along with one of our other good young cornerbacks. So
Yeah.
Screw Jamil Adai, because I can only imagine what he would do. If he comes to West Virginia, he coaches for like half a year, gets a bigger deal from an SEC school, and then tries to literally just completely tear down the program.
That's the only thing that
So
I'm scared about is like
continue your other list. Enough about him.
Graham Harrell is on there. I wouldn't say yes to him right now. He has no head coaching experience in this offense. Looks fantastic, but the team itself lackluster. And then Jordan Leslie, who's the current defensive coordinator. After the showing in Kansas, against Kansas, hell no do I want you coaching my football team as a head coach. No way. Not at all. So that's what the voice of Morgantown came up with. Like Kevin said, they're good to a degree. They have their own opinions. They aren't always correct on things that they say, but it's an interesting read to start the conversation of if Neal Brown were to be let go, next year, at the end of this year, after next season, whatever it is, who would you want to see come in to replace him?
For me, none of those names trigger me at all. None. Nada. Not a single. Ooh, that sounds good. No. None of them sound good. I don't like them. Maybe I'm just trying to be a homer and just hope he rights the wrongs of what's going on right now. But I'll say this, I'm gonna still be loyal to my Mountaineers through and
Yep.
through, as I always am.
Have to be.
But we just need results. We have been a patient enough of a fan base that we deserve them. But also the one of the things, so I listened to the Country Roads Confidential with those guys from 24/7 Sports, and they talked about even if you leave, if think about at least our lifetime.
Yep.
So we'll go back to when Rich Rod was here. Rich Rod was here. Everybody loved him. He was a local guy. He's from Morgantown. Great story. Cool. He leaves during, signing day to go to Michigan. We put in Bill Stewart. Bill Stewart, he was only getting to an 8-4 team, but we always thought that we were more than that. So they cut him loose, but it wasn't a complicated cutting loose because we already had the coach in waiting.
Yeah, but that was the worst situation ever created by West Virginia.
Why they did that we'll never know.
Everyone that is a Bill Stewart supporter, and I love Bill Stewart. I thought he was one of the nicest guys in the world. I'll keep saying that, that whole situation led to his passing away not even a year later, because of that stress and everything.
Yeah.
But yes, continue.
But if you think about, so Dana is hired and moved in as a head coach a year earlier than expected. Dana leaves pretty much when he was towards the end of a contract. He left after the New Year's, and Neal Brown filled the coaching vacancy within 4 days of it being opened. So this would be the first. Yes, 4 days.
Wow.
So this would be the first time, if you're looking for a new head coach, and this is going to be a much difficult situation. It puts the fan base in a really tricky situation because we don't know what's going to happen with the football team. It's something that we have never, ever, ever had to go through this type of coaching change.
Right.
Ever. So it's going to be it is not going to be an easy fix because you listed all those names. I could give two shits about any of them. Jimbo Fisher was the one that stuck out to me, but I also don't want to stick we don't need to just stick to the West Virginia boy to come and coach us. I feel like we are a big enough institution that we can get somebody else. I mean, ideally, you want somebody that's going to care about the state, going to care about the university.
You want somebody that cares about it like Neal Brown does. Neal, every year since he's been here, has brought the team to a coal mine. to show the team what they're playing for.
I mean,
And
I'll
I
if I
love
had to
that.
be honest, I don't even give a shit about that. Like, I'm just talking about, yes, he does all that stuff. Sorry if any of my West Virginia fans are gonna be mad about me saying that. But it's more about the passion for the traditions of the university. Like, you know, we are the professional team in that state. In West Virginia, the number one team there is the West Virginia Mountaineers, not the Marshall people in green. Nobody gives a shit about them other than their movie. Sorry,
All
just
the only people that care about
honest.
them are the dot that big.
Yeah, shout out to all the people in green people in Huntington.
Yeah,
Nobody cares.
stupid
Like,
herd.
it's not like anybody else that can really, like, the only, like, Alabama's their pro team. That's what it is for us in West Virginia. And whoever would be the coach there needs to understand that's what you're playing for. Yes, you can give them the whole coal mining and the people like listening to games while they're working. Yes, amazing story. It's the truth. Phenomenal. But at the same time, you need to be able to put a product on the field that's going to make the fans proud, your alumni proud, the students proud, and be able to brag like, yo, West Virginia, so and so in the rankings. I didn't know so far. Here, a little fun fact for you. Since Neal Brown has been coach, West Virginia has never been ranked.
Wait, really?
Not once.
That's not good.
Preseason, in during the season, he's never been ranked, which is a little terrifying to me. How is
That's
that
really
even?
bad.
Yeah. So I I I don't
That's
want to have Neal's head on a stick right now. I think he can right the ship. He just needs to make sure that the team is doing what they're supposed to. And because I just truthfully, I think I just don't want to go through that type of tough coaching search because those coaching searches, it's not gonna be easy. We're not gonna fix it in 4 days like we did when we brought in Neal Brown. It's gonna take probably a couple months. And that's not gonna be good because we're gonna be so behind on recruiting.
yeah. That's the only thing is if you decide to move on from Neil, you're going to do it in season. Like you're
You
not
think
gonna.
they're gonna do it in season? They're not
I
gonna
don't think.
wait.
No, I don't think this year. Like I think he can write it. I really do. I like Neil Brown. I think he's a good coach. Would I like him to have a little bit more cojones and go for it and have that killer instinct at times? Yes. Is it him? No, it's not. So that's okay. Maybe Graham Harrell can kind of push him to get to that point. But I don't think they do it this year. I don't know if you're going to do it next year, like during the off season, unless the team is only wins one game. Then if the team only wins one game, then yeah, guess what? Your ass is gone. Like that is straight up. Let's be honest. No one in West Virginia is going to be okay with that. Um, but say he writes the ship and we win the bowl game. That saves him a little bit. But say we go in next year and we start off like we did this year, 0-2, 0-3, whatever it is.
Which could happen because it's Penn State,
And Pitt.
then Pitt.
Two big games, but two teams that we should be able to beat Pitt next year. Pitt's going to lose a lot of stuff. We're losing some stuff. We're not going to lose as much. If we don't win those two games and go into the easy game and this doesn't look good, I think that's when you see the university say, okay, we're done. We'll name it interim and we'll start a coaching search. I think that's the only way that saves you because you have somebody there that has been part of the team, that has the offense, that has the defense, whatever you want to call it, and understands that. It then allows you a little bit more leg room to start bringing people in for the search. Like, okay, we're going to start talking to this guy. We're going to start talking to this guy. If that gets to that point, I don't want them to talk to anybody that has never been in a Power Five school. I don't want an Appalachian State head coach. I don't want a Coastal Carolina head coach. I don't want any of that. I don't want to, even if they went to BYU and said, hey, you've been great. I don't want a BYU head coach. I want somebody that comes from SEC, that comes from, ACC, not the Pac-12, because Pac-12 is god awful. Graham Harrell's good. That's all we can take there. But like, or the Big Ten. If we can grab somebody from those areas and bring them in and let them develop something, I'm cool with that. I'm not going to go through this again, though. I I don't think the fan base would be able to survive going through another quote unquote Neal Brown if we brought somebody in that has head coaching experience, but not at a Big 12 or not a Big Five, Conference 5 level. I don't think the town would still be alive. I think it would burn. Let's be honest. But I really do hope, at the end of the day, I do hope Neal Brown can right the ship. I know I was yelling profanities at him during the game and texting my friends saying he sucks and I want him gone, blah, blah, blah. That's neither here nor there. That was in the middle of yelling and being all upset. Yeah, I'm allowed to be. I was a fan. But that's enough West Virginia. Let's talk a little bit about the NFL. So week 1 ended last night, as you can see behind me, with the Seattle Seahawks and Denver Broncos game on, like I mentioned earlier, for our boy Gino. There's a few surprising games. Kevin, one was yours. Holy mother of God. That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Honestly, I was kind of shocked too when I was looking. I was like, wow, first pass, pick 6. Let's get it.
Dude, I watched the end of that game because I got direct TV, the Sunday NFL Sunday ticket. So I could watch Patriots games down here now.
There you go.
Yeah. Worth the $30 a month for sure. Definitely worth it.
Hey, you do what you got to do. I fully respect this decision.
So they got to the end of the game and like I was watching it. Jamar Chase had a catch that was unbelievable, though it was ruled incomplete because he had his toe just barely on the white. But he one-handed a ball and like palmed it like this and just curled it under. Yeah, like, it was beautiful. Granted, he scored a touchdown anyway, but no one could hit a field goal until overtime, and Steelers won. Let's see, the Giants won, which is huge.
Yep, somehow Giants won.
The Titans missed a game-winning field goal. Oh yeah, that's who else missed the game-winning field goal. The Titans.
Yeah.
There's 7. The Vikings dismantled the Packers.
Yeah, that one, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Especially when the wide receivers for the Packers had less yards than one wide receiver for the Raiders did. Devontae Adams had 25 more receiving yards than all the Packer wide receivers combined. Granted,
that's crazy.
I'm pretty sure Lazard did not play.
No, he didn't.
He was out, and he's the number 1. And I like him. He's a good wide receiver. But
yeah. But looking at the rest of those games,
49ers.
Number 1, 49ers,
They blew it. I love the celebration though for the Bears.
And their running back went down.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, I feel bad for Elijah Mitchell. He really trying out here, but
he
keeps getting hurt.
This is year 3 and he's never played a full season?
I don't remember. Was it year 3? I thought it's year 2.
Maybe it's year 2, but he's never in 2 years. He hasn't played a full season yet.
Yeah, it's tough. I feel for him. But looking at those games, hold on, let me see. The Giants' first ever win in their season over since 2016, which I can account for because
the Browns did too.
It's crazy.
The Browns
won. Shout out to the Giants. I'm gonna be working the Giants game this weekend against the Panthers. So that would be really,
Tell,
really fun to see if they can go 2-0.
tell me what
Uh,
section you're going to be in because my buddies are going to the game, so maybe I'll tell them to swing by.
I'll let you know when I get to the game because I don't know where I'm working yet. But normally it should be the 100 level.
Okay.
Fun times, fun times. But really, really, really excited for football season to be back.
Yeah.
Fantasy football currently went 3-0 this
Ooh.
week.
I went 1-2. Not so good.
That's okay. It's only week one. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I've totally messed up and left Kareem Hunt and Robbie Anderson on my bench, not thinking they would actually
Ooh.
go off, and they both went off.
I had Robbie Anderson left on my bench as well, but the team that I had, both of them had Cooper Cup on it, and he went off the first game.
Yeah.
So
My
but yeah.
defense went off the first game. I had 18 points because I had the Bills defense.
Oh yeah, I had a Bills defense for mine too.
I was like,
Hold on,
yeah,
let me see.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Bad
I
news
have a
for your
question for you.
yes. What up?
Well, if you were me, would you do this trade?
Oh
We're
boy.
going live. I would be receiving George Kittle, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Jeff Wilson, and I would be trading away Adam Thielen and tight end Kyle Pitts.
Who would you get again?
I would get George Kittle, Juju
No, Kittle's hurt.
Smith-Schuster, and Jeff Wilson Jr.
Kittle's hurt.
That's what I figured. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
no.
And same with Juju Smith-Schuster. He's questionable.
Yeah, no. Kittle didn't play at all on Sunday. So yeah, no way. Dude,
Yeah. Go ahead.
my one team I have Kyler Murray. I had
Amazing.
Swift from the Lions.
Shout out to
He went
DeAndre.
off.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase went off. Anthony Gibson went off, and Pittman went off.
Eesh.
Yeah. So that team did really well. The other ones, yeah, not so much. It's okay.
I'm
Week one.
hoping Russell Wilson rebounds from his game last week and beats the crap out of the Texans. But that's what
I don't know. The Texans beat
I
the
know.
Colts, which I get. Could you
No,
say?
they tied.
Yeah, they tied. Sorry, they tied them. But like, the Colts are supposed to be really good. They have one of arguably the best running back in the NFL. And Jonathan Taylor did have a great game fantasy wise because he's on my fantasy team.
There you go.
And Pittman, like I said, did very well. I think he's Matt Ryan's favorite target. But the Steelers, they suffered a big loss though during that game.
I know. TJ going to be out for I believe 6 weeks.
Is it? I didn't even see anything. All I saw was he was getting a second and third opinion on his pectoral muscle, and if it's torn, he's out for the year.
A lot of them have said it's a slight tear, but he can get back because it's a slight tear within 6 weeks. The idealistic, depending on how bad the slight tear or where it is.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can get TJ back because he's crucial to that Steelers defense. But
as long as you're not playing against us, I'm cool with it.
I mean, I'm not too worried. My guy, Minka Fitzpatrick, shout out to Old Bridge legend out here. Hey, it's not my fault you guys didn't draft him, but he's killing it for the Steelers. He's been gotten so many takeaways for them, so I'm hoping he continues that momentum.
Hate them.
Oh. Sorry.
It's all right. My Patriots suck. Mustard
That's
only one
Patriots.
touchdown. One touchdown against the Miami Dolphins. Lost 20-7.
Look at you.
Yeah, it was not good. Very, very bad. We don't even know who the offensive play caller is. Apparently it's Matt Patricia, but if it's really him, then God, we just need to go find brand new coaches. I was talking to my wife because we were watching the game, and I go, if this is what it's going to be like all year, I'm Robert Kraft. I'm going down to Bill Belichick and saying, Bill, go find some actual freaking offensive coaches. Not doing this. Like, you wanted to get better. We got worse. And it might be that time too for Bill Belichick to potentially hang it up. He's 70. He's going to be 71. Um, it'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm so used to Patriots being good, like or great, but I know they're never going to be that good or great again. They could,
Mhm.
but doubtful. Um, but this weekend, Kevin, our two teams go head to head, and I believe is it in Pittsburgh?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think it's in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited.
NFL.
It is in Pittsburgh. Yeah. 1 o'clock Sunday.
Yep. Yep. Oh, boy, that'll be fun. So exciting.
Yes.
The Patriots just added Ty Montgomery to the IR, so he's not going to play.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. That means Kendrick Bourne will actually get some playing time besides 2 minutes, like 2 plays. And in those 2 plays, he had a 40-yard catch, which was beautiful.
Amazing.
So apparently, the rumor is that he's not in Bill Belichick's doghouse. He's in Matt Patricia's doghouse for being late to an offensive meeting
Oh
during
God.
the second week of the preseason.
Madness.
Bro, he was your second best wide receiver last year. Do not keep him on the sidelines. Put him in the damn game.
I don't know what
But
to tell you.
with that, we got to have a friendly wager, I think.
You have any ideas? I have an idea.
All right, what's your idea?
Whoever wins just buys person lunch via Zelle.
Or you could just order it for the person, have it delivered to him.
That's gonna be so much work for me. I'm just gonna give you the money so you can pick out wherever you want.
All right, I like that one. Loser pays for the other person's lunch one day. All right.
Yes.
Do we want to set a limit so that we're not spending $1,000 on
Uh,
lunch?
I'll go. Let's go. The limit will be 25.
Okay, I think that's a good one. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in
Cool.
there. 20. Nice. I think that'll be fun.
All you gotta do to know when it is, we'll do it within the next 2 weeks. The
Yeah.
lunch will be within the next 2 weeks, and all we'll do is you just send a text message of the receipt, and then boom.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll send the money via Zelle. We'll put in what it is meant for.
Yes.
And then once you do buy your lunch, to put a picture. Okay. I like that idea.
Yes.
That'll be good. Perfect. Kevin, that's everything I got. Did we miss anything? Did you have anything that may have popped up?
No, this is just gonna be a very exciting time for us because we're gonna have content to cover. Sports are out here. We're in the middle of baseball season, even though we don't really talk baseball.
I know
But
the Red Sox are
football,
playing your Yankees tonight. 3-3 right now.
I did hear about that. Um, Football season's here. We got to figure out who we're gonna get for guest on right now. A lot of good things happening. Speaking of the wrestling world, there's a lot of drama going on in the wrestling world that I know our guys from that have come on our wrestling podcast have talked about. You know, we'll see if what goes on the next couple of weeks, but we'll just stay tuned. I'm just happy that the main sports are back, and at least for, in my opinion, college football and NFL. So we have content to talk about each week, and we're gonna just continue to take it from there.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're getting to that point of the year again where NFL, college football, college basketball is right around the corner.
And then right after them is NBA.
You know what we totally forgot to say?
What?
Congratulations, Huggy Bear. Man,
Oh, yeah.
finally made it to the Hall of Fame. And that's awesome. He's got a day in West Virginia named after him now.
Yeah.
September 10th is Bob Huggins Day. So everyone remember that.
Fun times. I don't know if you ever saw. So the details on his suit
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
all in the inside were all the teams that he coached at.
Yep, and the different pictures. There's pictures of him like throughout his time
His
frame of
time frame.
playing as well as coaching.
Yeah.
Um, but he looked great. He had the big WVU on this jacket, but also had the gold pendant.
Yep.
That was awesome.
That I mean
John,
that he's a true WVU guy, true and true,
yeah,
well deserved to be finally been in that Hall of Fame. I'm just happy that we got him there. And that's what, that was one of the things they talked about. Like, that was what was super disappointing about Saturday was that, like, this was supposed to be a huge celebration for the full state of West Virginia. First home game,
yeah.
coming back, Huggins in the Hall of Fame. But, people have to, break
That
hearts
was
sometimes.
that was my takeaway from Saturday. I go, you know what? At least our coach went to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Because during the halftime they played his speech was going on, so they put it live
oh, that's cool.
in the crowd. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love it. I'm excited for him to be there. Well deserved. But with that, Kevin, I think we're good. I think that's all we got.
Yeah. Is it outro time?
I think it's your turn.
It is outro time. Yes. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, probably in record time. It is 8:56, so not too long, but we'll probably end up seeing the time later on. It was probably longer than expected.
Last week's
So
episode was longer than I expected it to be, too.
well, yeah, we bullshitted a lot of that episode, but I digress.
So we did.
So, outro time. For those that are watching on the YouTube, thank you for watching. You can follow us and watch us on YouTube at our page, the Manly Musings Podcast. Feel free to make sure you listen to us on all of the platforms. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Play, even on Pandora. I need to find our podcast on Pandora because I would totally love to see what random episode pops up. But
I'm gonna find it right now.
yes, we're there. We also have an Instagram that is heavily used by me. So please make sure you follow the Instagram, the Manly Musings Pod. You'll see all types of adventures and things that I like to post. Follow Merritt at his Instagram at Merritt_P. Follow me at KQuaver624. And as West Virginia great Geno Smith said, you know, they may have written me out, but I didn't write back. So we're not going to write back if you write us out. So peace, love, and see y'all next week.
See y'all.